Boom. We are live 6 minutes late. That is not bad.
Hey, that is amazing.
You know, getting better over time. So, Friday evening podcast. This is a special one. This is something we've been had in the works for a while. We got a little postponed a couple months ago.
I don't show up, guys. So
yeah, Tiff's here.
Something's got to be going on.
No, it is for real. So, do you want to do that first before we start?
Yeah,
thing?
I'm just promoting.
Yeah, so I don't know if people knew that, but basically Tiff is always usually sitting to my right over here when we do the podcast, and she takes the photos, does a little story to let y'all know what's popping, so she's basically does not work without this queen over here, so she's just doing that right now to let Märzen know what's going on,
right,
and then we're good to go. That's okay, I just wanted you to, in case you feel comfortable.
Perfect.
You good?
Yeah.
You're good. All right. What is it, 35, right? 35.
Episode 35.
What's good, y'all? This is Cee Certified Brewhead, and welcome to episode 35 of Beer Kulture podcast Adjunct series Quarantine Edition. This evening, I have the most important person in the world, Tiffany Alexis, with me.
You are just too kind.
You guys haven't seen her for a little bit. I can't remember the last one you were on. It was a while ago.
I actually don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. I'm always here, guys, but Craig does his thing. But like every now and then, I'll put makeup on for a special occasion, which is why you normally don't see me.
Yes, and tonight is very, very special occasion. So just before we introduce the guest, I want to just quickly address last night's podcast for the last one, just for anyone who saw or heard it. So, because people dropped off after this thing happened. So about like an hour and a half in, I spilled a beer, and I was getting pretty annoyed that it was the second beer I spilled in the podcast. For people who don't know, we did a blind taste test. And I was just cleaning up, and I was kind of just playing. I was like, oh, fuck, just getting pretty annoyed. But it took a little bit of time to clean everything up. So I was like, oh, man, I've left these three guys just talking. I need to get back. So I was rushing back to the bedroom. I stepped in beer on the rug, and my socks were wet. And I went too far in the kitchen, too fast. I threw, like, the little towel I was drying it with at the sink. And when I did that, I think I put too much velocity on my body. I slipped on the floor. I smacked my under my armpit on the corner of a wine fridge, and then went full force into the ground. And I screamed really loud, and it sounded like I was just being like
raging. Yeah,
raging, like I was a crazy person. And Tiff said, "Oh, from when that happened to when I came back, maybe 10 minutes later."
If anyone dropped off, they wouldn't.
They wouldn't dropped off. They wouldn't know.
He wasn't being crazy because of that.
So I was really like, why did this have to happen on a live podcast? Because I almost was going to call it off, but I thugged it out and sat through it. But I basically got a huge gash under my arm. I found another bruise on my tricep, my whole hip, my knee, my thumb. I can barely grab anything. It's a bit of a mess. I want people to not think I'm a psychopath. I literally had quite a bad fall in one of the most embarrassing times. I'm really glad it wasn't on video, but I even had my friend say, hit me before, say a brewery owner was watching, asked if I was okay and shit. I'm like, fuck, okay. So I just wanted to really put that out there. I'm not crazy. I literally had a really bad fall.
It just sounds like that's the live thing that you get, right?
It's the first time. I was like, why?
But he was pretty mashed up, guys. He was pretty mashed up.
It's pretty bad.
I feel like you did well, and you still continued on for like an hour and a half or something.
Yeah, I thought, you know what, let me just keep drinking. I almost did it.
He's going to leave now.
Yeah, I almost did it, but I thought... Anyway, so I just really want to say that first on the audio podcast part as well, in case people listen. So please just listen to the whole thing, because it's only like went a little weird a bit. I explained it, and then I chilled out and started drinking, and we just continued the podcast, and everything was great. So, with that said, let's get into it. So this evening, this queen of a woman is one of our favorite people in craft beer. She's doing so much, we don't even know how she has the time of the day to do things that she's doing. If you're anywhere in craft beer in North America, you absolutely know her or her organization. Is Latiesha Cook of Beer Kulture. Welcome, Tiesh. Oh, I got the applause button. Got the applause. Woo!
Oh, she has to.
There you go. You can't hear it, but there's an applause button. How are you, love?
All our best. Okay, so while I was listening to your story, I almost wish that you would have been like, yeah, and I'm just crazy, like,
So I'm a psycho. Come through.
Just crazy like
for
that.
More moments like this.
I'm just crazy. That's it. That's all.
Can you imagine?
That's awesome. Hey, y'all.
How are you doing? This is so nice. This is
it's so nice. Finally, this is months in the making. This is years in the making, really.
Technically,
yeah.
Well, we didn't want to do it this way. We wanted to
normally,
do it in person.
we try to go see people in person, but that's So now we get to do it the digital way. I love it.
I know, this is good. I feel like there's just a whole bunch of virtual hug love happening right now. So right, I'll take it.
It's such a long time. So we've got about an hour this evening, so I want to get into it. Do you have your beers with you, or beer, or whatever you're drinking?
Festbier, what is that?
So it's
Of course.
just water. It's mostly water. What do you got? What do you crack? I was hoping you would do some of your collabs, the Cloudwater stuff. I want to talk about that too.
Oh, you mean like this year?
Oh.
She knew. Yeah.
Oh, you also mean like this year?
I didn't think it'd be a hard decision for you to.
And so
to go.
listen, before when I was getting ready for this, right? I was like, okay, so what am I gonna drink? And then I was like, okay, so I'm gonna drink my shit.
Yeah.
But then I thought for a second, I was like, okay, is that like whack to drink your own shit?
No.
Like a thing?
Yeah. No, not at all.
Not at all. I feel like if you didn't, it'd be a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I didn't even think I need
so
to say
I'm
it.
drinking our shit, you know. You feel me?
Hey. I'm glad you got a lot of them as well, because they would have had to ship it over, right? To get it to you? Yeah, so you got a decent amount. There.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I
good.
did. I
Good
was
job.
able to spread the love, and it was great.
Fantastic.
And
That is
Cloudwater
awesome.
is just like, an amazing brewery. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Um,
they are. My people's over there. Good, fucking,
Good.
just solid people. I think, like, in this space, in a lot of spaces, it's really hard to find, like, genuine, real people. And that team is just made up of incredible individuals who give a shit about the world and each other. And it's really refreshing to work with them. So, yes, they are an incredible team. They make good beer.
Yeah.
But they are incredible people, and we are proud and honored to work with them.
That's
I
so
love
good.
that.
That's so good. Do you want to, while you're pouring it, I know it's kind of sort of skipping ahead. Do you want to maybe just tell a story of how that came about?
Mhm.
And before you do that, we are crushing Towns, Doom Boy, it's, dry hopped. Come on, my damn face. Come up. There we go. Thanks.
I got you.
Pilsner, dry hop Pilsner. These guys are good friends of ours, and they're also big supporters of all the movement and such. Like, not every brewery is. So I want to make sure that we are supporting those who
Support us.
support us, support
Yeah.
the people.
All right, cool.
There you go. We're doing the photos as we go. Yeah. So how did that come about, Tiesh? It's super cool.
So we wanted to do something that was traditional. I told you before, but I am a bit of a traditionalist. So I
You
like
did tell me that.
traditional beer. And when we talked about what we wanted to do in terms of our collaboration, we just talked about tradition and what that meant and what that looked like this time of year.
Okay.
And so obviously, there's a lot of people who find, Märzen and Festbier to be appropriate for this time of year.
Of course.
And so, when we talked, it was like, okay, we want to do something that is traditional, but we also want to talk about what creating new tradition looks like. And so that was a lot of the conversation and the reasoning behind doing the Märzen and the Festbier. Bringing in traditions old and traditions new. And so it was really just to kind of kick off and start the conversation of bridging those gaps between old traditions, new traditions, and what we all bring to this culture. So very simple, but beautiful at the same time. This is the Festbier. It is absolutely amazing.
What is the difference between a Festbier and a Märzen, if you don't mind explain?
Yeah.
Because I don't really know much about this stuff. I love it.
It's like a Festbier, and a Märzen is like a Märzen, and you drink it, and it's
Great. Really.
Deep. That's deep. That's
very
deep.
a little deep for y'all out here. I feel like y'all can pick it up, and that's cool.
I'll take
so
it.
no, the Festbier, I'm actually gonna pour them both.
So we can see
Oh,
the,
nice. You can see the difference.
We can double fest on here,
Oh,
right?
yeah, of
here.
course. Oh, of course.
Oh, ain't no rule against that. Yeah, I love that. I like that they like. Why did you do 2 collabs instead of 1 at the time? I guess that's it's maximize.
So we're actually doing a series.
Okay.
It won't be just 1 release, 2 releases. We're going to continue to drop with Cloudwater.
Okay.
Most of our partners, we decide to do long-term partnerships. When you think about collaborations, right? I just wanted to show you guys the color.
It's a little
on this.
dark.
Okay, yeah.
More
So that's like
amber.
the amber, more like
Gorgeous.
amber, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Märzen's
Yeah.
are so good.
So when you think about collaborations, you think, all right, we're going to go to this brewery, we're going to pull up, we're going to bring our people, we're going to pour the hops into the boil, we're going to take a picture, and then we're going to go home, and then that's it, right?
Yeah.
when we think collaborative work, it is relational, right? And so it's ongoing. It's not something that happens one time and then it's done, or it's not a picture opportunity and then it's done.
Yeah.
It's continuous relationship building work together on an ongoing basis. And so we wanted to do that. This is the work, you know what I mean? The relationship is not, just liquid focused.
Yeah.
We have more meaning and impact behind what we're doing.
Right.
Obviously, we're a nonprofit, and so these are charity beers.
Yeah.
And so it needs continuous work in order to make, our mission work. And so they're committed to, ongoing work internally and externally.
Nice. That's great.
It's a partnership more than anything. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
like just doing this like one-off fun collabs or whatever. It's something more deep and meaningful. And I
like
love that. And that's actually like, even for us, when we're working with, on behalf of our clients, we work with other, say, influencers or just other people in general. We try to make it something long-term because you're just going to get more out of that, than just like the one and done type deal. So,
Right.
Yeah, no, that's very, very cool.
So first
Well,
of all,
cheers to
cheers. Pleasure.
Cheers to you.
Much.
Did you hear my glass clink with
Ooh.
yours?
I love it.
Oh, this is good.
Yes, it's really good actually. Galaxy Dry
Nice.
Hop Super Light too, only 4%. Obviously, not exactly a Cloudwater Festbier, but we're here.
Hey, we do what we can.
No.
No, I'm joking. These guys are awesome. So, as far as your story, so I actually never really knew how everything came together. I feel like beer culture was just this like force,
Incredible force.
came
I was going to
out
say
of,
like force. Yeah.
it just came out. I felt like it came out of nowhere. All of a sudden,
Sure.
my feed was just populated with everyone who was involved in the organization. Daniel in Vancouver's here. What
Cheers,
up, bro?
Daniel.
Cheers, bro. So yeah, do you want to maybe give us a bit of a TLDR on how beer culture came together and how and now you are, because there was sort of a bit of a switch from your husband to yourself, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So how that came about too, because it's super interesting.
Sure. So basically, Beer Culture started with my husband and I. It was more so his baby. He had just started his journey in beer after our son passed away. And so he would have this mission of getting me to like beer. At that point, I didn't. I was more of a mixed drink girl.
Okay.
I like things that were really sweet. And beer is, not.
I mean, it can be, but mostly not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I started to kind of taste things like fruit beers that were a little on the sweeter side, and so it got me a little wet. That sounded really bad.
Yeah,
It got me really interested.
That's going to be the clip
I'm gonna put
that
that-
we actually
yeah.
cut for the promo.
Like just that 10 seconds, and that's it. I'll send it to you. No.
I can see it.
Like, people be like, oh, really? Okay, let me click on this.
Yeah.
A little wet.
It's all about headlines, Tiesh. It's all about the
Yeah.
headlines.
Y'all ain't right. So anyway, it got me into it. It was something that I liked, and I was like, okay, I could buy this. I could drink this. And so after, kind of drinking it ourselves, we started Googling and looking for places where we could go and actually enjoy it. Because, you can go to the bar and you can get, your whiskey or whatever it is that you drink. But people who aren't into craft beer don't go to a bar and be like, yeah, let me get whatever craft you have on tap. That just wasn't a thing for us. And so, you Google and you found that there were these spaces called breweries and tap rooms and, shit like that. And so I was like, okay, so maybe we should start going to these places and, see what they have to offer. And so we did that. And obviously, you guys have been to breweries and tap rooms, and sometimes they're not as colorful as you would like.
More times.
You're every time, yeah.
Yeah. So, when you go to the space, there's nothing crazy in terms of how the people treat you. You go and you order what you like. They're friendly and they give you what you want, and then you go sit in the corner and you drink your beer and then you leave.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much, the experience that you have. At least that was the experience for us and many other people who look like us, right? And so we started to wonder kind of why that was. And then that's how beer culture was born, just out of the need to have space for people of color. By people of color, I mean Black people, I mean African Americans, I mean Hispanic people, I mean all people of color. And so we started to, you know, put on events, take beer to places where it wasn't. And, you know, we were in strip clubs, you know, we brought beer there. We were at the regular club. We brought beer there. We were at car shows. We brought beer there and kind of had people sample them and try it. And they loved the shit. And from there, we kind of, you know, people were like, oh, my God, they got beer in the club. Look at these people, you know, they're drinking beer. Why is nobody doing this?
Right.
And we kind of, you know, grew a voice, so to say, from that. And that's how we started 2017.
Is that all?
Just blew up, yeah.
Wow, I was kind of expecting like a lot earlier than that. That's crazy how much you guys have done in such a short time.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, can you grab the thing there? This bad boy came out. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's from where we pulled it from our beer shelf.
Oh, yes. And this was something that was like, you guys like hustled this, like, you know, I do music, and this was reminding me of how rappers hustle, like the way you guys got it on the Amazon bestselling. Yeah, you just went out to all the stores that were stock in it.
It was everywhere.
Breweries were stock in it.
Yeah, everywhere.
And it's self-published, like you just did it. You just did it.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I loved it. I hadn't seen anything really like it before. I didn't even know if I talked to you when we copped that. I was just really curious, and the fact, so Dom, your husband, wrote the book probably around that time, or was it, I think maybe 2018? I can't remember the year.
It was the next year.
The next year.
Okay, yeah.
And that was just documenting, he tells all about the story and how he got into it and found Guinness, and how that took him on his journey, because he was originally from New York. Are you from New York as well, or are you from Florida?
Born and raised in the Bronx.
Hey, BX all day. We watch Jesus and Mero, we know. They are the best things ever happened. I love those motherfuckers so much. Okay, so the book came out, and that really did that raise your, like, where did the profile start to raise?
Yeah, like the momentum there, like where you
was it just baby steps, or was there like a one big thing, or what was the deal?
It wasn't one big thing. It just happened, really. It was kind of like a small escalation, just creeping up to the next. And the momentum it hadn't slowed down since, you know, we started.
Right.
That's like sustained effort, right? Kind of like that's technically the best way to grow, is that like you're persistent, you keep putting forth effort, and then, you know, it catches. And I'm wondering, like, because of this, you're saying like, we're going to strip clubs, we're going to clubs, and we're doing all this. I'm so curious, like, how did people receive that, and how did you explain it to them, you know? Because I just think, like, Black people have such an interesting relationship with beer. And it's different in the United States than it is even from here. Like, for us, like, Canadians were mainly Jamaican for the most part, let's say. Sorry, in Toronto, something like that. A lot of us are Jamaican. And in the end, we get exposed to it at barbecues, beer specifically, at barbecues, and mostly Heinekens and Red Stripes. And, like, there's, like...
Guinness too.
And some Guinness, too, yeah. Because Guinness is supposed to be good for us, and, it helps with pregnant women and stuff like that. So, but, yeah, what's the relationship, and what were people thinking when you were bringing around these types of beers?
Yeah, it's wild because, you know, you get the response that you would expect. In my mind, I think about, like, when I think about my relationship with beer, I think about my grandfather who would drink it every morning, you know, before work.
All right.
So
it's right into
go
it.
to the refrigerator and go get his drink, and you bring it to him, right? And so you would do that. And so, you know, you would smell it, or you'll taste it as a kid, and you'll be like, yeah, this shit's nasty.
Yeah.
And so when we brought it to these spaces, it was like, all right, here, we're going to get you to sample this beer. You tell me what you think. And off bat, people were like, yep, I don't want to try that. Beer is nasty. It tastes like this. I'm good. Y'all can keep it. Right. And so it's like, listen, this is not the beer that you're used to. And that's kind of where that terminology came from, because it's not, when you think about beer, you think about the OEs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, literally liquid piss is what it tastes like.
Horrible.
This is not that. This is handcrafted, made, you know what I'm saying? Different ingredients, different flavor profiles. It's really good. And so when you break it down for what it is, then you kind of get, you know, the barriers that are breaking down. Like, okay, I'll try it. It's like, all right, what do you like? Okay, I got something that tastes like that, or something that's similar to that. And then they'll kind of give you a chance to sample it. And then from there, they're like, okay, where can I go get this now? You know, and then that becomes another conversation.
Right. Did you, like, I know you're also good friends with Tio and Benny at Crowns and Hops, and he was telling us that one of the main hurdles to overcome, to follow up from that, when you just said that, now where do I get it? He was like, there wasn't good beer in the hood in those stores. People weren't trying to sell the African American communities like actual good shit. Like, they weren't distributing there. So how did you sort of like get around that with the people that you were trying to get on board? Because they probably would, have to send them out of the way.
They would go and get it, right?
They would figure it out. Okay.
But then this is part of the conversation that we're having, because why isn't good beer in these markets? Why can't I go right to my corner store and get something good to drink? And so when we were having a lot of these conversations with like distributors and people like that, it was like, well, they don't drink it. Well, what gives you that information? Where did you get that from? What makes you say that? How do you know? Have you put it in there before? And so we had an event March 6th, I want to say 2018, at a place called Chief Creole's in downtown St. Pete. It's a completely Black district. It's a restaurant. They serve like soul food. And we had New Belgium come in. We had them bring their beer. And when I tell you, people were lit up for it. You know what I'm saying? And so now they carry their beer in their establishment. What you have to do is take it there. It's really that simple. If it's good, people will buy it. Right. Period. You have to market it, though. You have to put it there. You can't just say, well, they're not going to buy it before even, giving it a chance.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just assuming that there's certain tastes prescribed to like certain areas or certain types of people or whatever, which I guess that's also very interesting, because it's just like, is that just all Black neighborhoods? Because even so, it's like, just because a neighborhood is considered multicultural doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be in a certain economic status all the time. But is it that craft beer is just being focused on, like, say, like a hipster demographic or something? Is that just what it is? It's like they're focusing. Okay, it's interesting in that way. Because we don't really.
I feel like it'd be the same here. You're not going to go to Jane and Finch in Toronto.
That's the thing, yeah. And it's interesting that they just do that. They're just like, oh, people are of this certain color, and they're not just going to want it, so we're just not going to stock it, and they don't even try. So you have to have this full external party come in, and then in the end, you make money for an industry and end up helping an economy, because there's a blind spot that people don't see based on their own assumptions.
Hence the success that you guys
have. And then you get the success. It's very
right. So then the next stage of it, so your husband kind of, I imagine it was the last year, probably from memory, he kind of stepped back from the company, and then early this year it was, okay. I feel, honestly,
was that just this year?
Yeah, who has any concept of time anymore, right? It's a mess.
Yes. Well, this year has literally been like 5 years. So it's been 5 years long.
At least.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, prior to that, correct me if I'm wrong, Beer Culture, was it a non-profit already, or that's something that you formally did this year? Okay.
That is something that we formally did this year. So we were a, what do you call it? Lifestyle brand. Yes,
that sounds about right.
Lifestyle brand. What the hell is that? I don't know, but that's what we were at the time.
Okay. And then you took over and you've turned it into this non-profit. Now, was that something you always, like, where did that idea come from? What was, for that, as a relatively left turn on that,
Yeah, because lifestyle is like everything. You could just fold everything into it. And then non-profit is like, no, we want to zero in and do good in this area.
Yeah, for us it wasn't. I mean, we are community focused in our life. I think, growing up in the Bronx, you kind of meet everybody. Like, it's a big melting pot just of people, and you care about the people who are around you. And so that's just what we were used to. We've always been community focused. We've run, food pantries and food banks in our lives. We, lived in project areas just so that we can help families who live there. Like, our entire life is a mission to help our people, period. And so with this, it's just another opportunity to help more people. It just made perfect sense. Okay, we're doing this work already. We weren't getting paid for anything that we were doing. Everything that we were doing was funded out of our pocket. So this is hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of 4 years of just putting into the community. And so it's the same thing now. It's still, self-funded, but at the same time, now it's not. Now, as a nonprofit organization, everybody can play a part. Everybody can take, action in terms of giving back to the community that we love. And so it just made perfect sense to do it this way, invite people along the journey to whereas, it's not just us anymore. We don't have to carry the torch. It isn't about one single person. It's a community thing. And so everybody gets to take part and be a part of the change. It just made sense to do it this way.
Okay. So then what changed as far as the activities from I guess it went from sort of like educating communities who were sort of perennially ignored and for being served craft beer to actually financially giving back. You've got the backpack program for the kids going back to school and stuff.
Yeah, the scholarship.
Yes, the scholarship, the job board. The job board is just
it's so genius.
Like, could you maybe talk about some of the activities you guys do? Because it's like, it is so...
It's just so many things. I'm just like, damn, it's just like...
It's so cool, because you're making a real difference. I'm seeing the tweets, man.
So first on the list, we do all. Second is the, and then third is things. We do all the things.
Yeah, and very well too.
So no, we did the back to school backpack drive, just because it was like, okay, breweries, like they tend to think, I don't know how to reach the people in my backyard. I don't know how to do that. We think of it like this, foreign thing to talk to people who are, not in our space. Yeah. And so I had to think about it as like kindergarten, right? You go to the playground and you see the kid outside and you say, hey, you want to play with me? And then you're friends, right? It's really that simple. Yeah. And so when you formulate it like that, people are like, oh my God, okay, that's cool. I could do that. And so I was like, look, all you have to do is be a drop-off space and a pickup space for the people, right, in your backyard. Have people come in, donate supplies. That way you can authentically and organically connect with the people who are right there. Mm-hmm. When I tell you the responses that we got back was like, yo, the family right around the corner, now they frequent here just because, we did a backpack drive. And it's like, man, it's really that simple. All you have to do is get outside sometimes, and that's it. It's not rocket science. It's something really simple that we all can do, and it's easy. And I say that, and it almost makes me cringe a little bit because it's not easy, but it is at the same time. It's not hard, and that's trying to communicate. It's not hard. People think it's hard to do, and it's not hard. It's very simple. Just go outside, be human. That's it.
Right.
It is very simple when you say it that way. Yeah, that's the thing. But it's like nobody knows where to start. And that's the...
Which I guess is...
That's where you're coming in. Yeah.
Like you're showing people where to start. And on top of that, I didn't even think of that correlation between, hey, tell family we're doing a drive. People are like, yeah, I want to donate to that. Oh, this place is cool. And then now they're regulars. Like you're actually, by giving back to the community, these breweries are now have an additional customer.
Yeah. And also doing what they're supposed to do, which breweries are supposed to be for the community
hubs.
Right?
Community focused.
Yeah.
In the first place. And so that's exactly what this is meant to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the backpack drive. The scholarship, what's up with that one?
So scholarships is in partnership with Cicerone. They donate 3 scholarships for level 1 certifications, and that's on a quarterly basis. So about 12 applications per year. And that's for Cicerone certification level 1. So that's your certified beer server. So what that looks like is we allow you to take the Beer Savvy course, which is a $200 value. And then at the end of the course, you can test for the certified beer server certification. With the class, it makes it more successful than just going in and taking the test without knowing anything behind it.
Gotcha.
That's level 1, and then Beer Kulture funds certification level 2. So these is for people who have already passed level 1 and they want to take their education a step further and do actual certified Cicerone. And so that's roughly about $1,000 per candidate. We just launched last quarter, so this is our second round of applications that we're on now, so that's super exciting. Nice. So we've got our first rounders who are going through classes and testing now, and then we're getting the applications in for round 2. It's exciting stuff for the people who are into that piece of education.
Well, it's great because you create jobs with that, right? Like that's
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that for people of color, or is it for anyone?
Correction, because maybe not. It depends, because some people care about, having that, and some people don't. Sometimes it helps you, sometimes it don't. So I like to be like a little careful. I just say it in a way to where make it for you. Don't make it because you're trying to get a job. Do this because you want to learn more, and this is going to help you. If you get the job and this helps you get the job, that's just a bonus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, no, that's fair.
And then the next step, obviously, is the job board. So you're essentially connecting available brewery jobs across the country or internationally.
Yep. We got some in Canada.
That's what I'm Sick.
Everywhere. Yeah.
And then also you've got the candidates coming in, and typically you're serving. I imagine it would be sort of for anybody, but it's primarily for the people who are just like the communities who are ignored being served. These are the people who aren't always involved in that conversation to actually work at a brewery. So maybe you want to talk about that, because that's what I've seen. When you've shared the people who have tweeted you like, yo, I applied, I was really nervous, and I went in and I got the job. I start on Monday. There's so many of those things. I mean, I imagine the joy that must bring you for seeing that. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. So Dooch and I actually talked about some kind of job board years ago. And I had it in my phone in my notes. Like all of the ideas that you have.
Yes, and
that's just what it is. And so Chris Johnson, he is the co-owner at Green Bench. He texted me one night, and he was like, we need to come up with some kind of something, because I'm just tired of this being an excuse. But the way he wrote it in the caps, he was yelling, right? Yeah. So it was like I sent him a screenshot of my note that I wrote that time ago, and I was like, we need to go ahead and do this. And so we had the job board up, I think maybe 2 days after we talked about it through text. It was wild, because it was nothing like really hard or complicated to do. It was like, okay, we're just going to make this space. We have all of this traffic coming to our website. We have people checking in all the time. We have, our target demographic who's here. We have, the craft beer industry who's checking in to see, what's going on. And so why not just create a space where people can post jobs, people can post resumes, and then we can kind of, connect them in some way. And so the first day I put it up, I think we got one submission, and I was like, see, nobody's going to use this. They whacked for that. We got like 2 submissions, and it was like, okay, so they might use it. Okay. And then by like day 3, we had 10 submissions, and it was like, okay, this is cool. People are going to use this. And after our first week, we already started getting emails with, oh my God, I've been applying for jobs for a year. Nobody's reached out to me. And now they're reaching out to me. I get my pick of a job. The stories have just been crazy. So again, just something extremely simple, but is life-changing ultimately, for the people who benefit from it.
Yeah. And it just you're just solving so many problems. And I think that's what's so interesting, because obviously we know diversity in the tap room is an issue. But it's also an issue when you look behind the tap room, right? So you don't see it often in any roles, usually in the craft brewery. Yeah. Canada, same thing. So it's just, but the whole thing was like, oh, nobody's applying. That was like, when we speak to people, the biggest excuse was just nobody's applying. And you were like, hey, here you go. Like, here are the applicants they're applied, pick them up. If you go on
the website right now, you'll see a list of, different states and places where I actually have resumes locked and loaded in the vault. So that's not an excuse anymore. There's no more, I can't find anybody. What state are you in? Okay, great. I'll send a load of candidates to your email, and you can take your pick.
Yeah. So the way that it works then, the breweries, and just want to make this clear for anybody watching or listening who are involved in a brewery or work at a brewery or own a brewery, doesn't matter where you are. If you're in North America, which is primarily our audience, you can put any of your available jobs up on the Beer Kulture job board, and you have a list of all the candidates can go in and register. They put in the different jobs they're interested in, their skill levels, and the system will match the jobs, the available candidates with the job offer. Is that correct?
So I am the system.
Okay.
I
More work you're doing. My goodness.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, you working.
That makes more sense because
Yeah.
I was going to say that's a pretty intense system right there.
Well, I guess you'd have to match.
I look at every resume, I look at every application, and then I match them with what brewery owners are looking for.
So you just send it out. So it's almost like the job seeker just chucks it up there, and they're like, all right, do they sit back and be idle, or can they be proactive as well?
So the job seeker would submit the resume. If I have someone who inquires, I'll email them and let them know, hey, this person inquired about your resume. I'm going to send it to that person because it's their personal information. They should know what's happening with it, right?
Yeah.
So I send it to them. I let them know, hey, I get the green light to go ahead and send it. So I send it to the person looking for it. And then I do like a group email. That way they can connect and we know what's happening at the same time.
Okay. Is that just to make sure that it's all on the up and up type of thing, or is just to to answer some questions, or just so they don't? Yeah. Okay. So everyone's behaving.
Yeah. So I am very. There's a term for it. So I like to be in everything because this is my baby. I just want to know everything, and I want to know that it's working, and I want to know that you're doing what you say you're going to do, right?
Yeah.
And so when I send an email and I connect people to you, I want to know that you're reaching out to them.
You're hands on. You're hands on. That's all.
And so, I just want to make sure that the conversation is happening and we are on the up and up. One of my pet peeves is the whole lip service thing. We've been doing that for a really long time and I don't entertain it. And so if that's what you're about, if this is a cool thing for you, you probably shouldn't email or, fill out anything because I'll probably blast you a little bit. We don't do that. These are people's lives. And I take that extremely seriously. And so I want people to take that seriously as well. If you're not serious about it, then play somewhere else.
Gotcha. Now that makes a lot of sense. So have you actually seen any, being that you've been doing this over time, I know it's only been the nonprofit this year where you've been able to execute on a lot of these programs. Have you seen any, I guess, tangible changes in, at the very least, probably I would imagine one of the strongest impacts you've had is in your backyard, probably in your community. Is that accurate because you're physically there? Or is that not true at all? No, it's everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's
so cool.
We're here. I personally am hands-on in events here, but we've got board members
everywhere,
pretty much all over. We have volunteers all over. And so I'm calling on people. If you say you volunteer your time, okay, great. I've got work for you.
Right.
Great. This is exciting. We got this.
Okay.
And so, yes, we are extremely hands-on. Every volunteer, every board member, everybody who is involved is dedicated to seeing through real change. So the change that we are seeing, yes, it is extremely impactful on all bases. From the give back drive in terms of the backpacks affecting families during COVID to right now we're partnered with Green Bench, which is hyper local. But we like to do a lot that's national so that other people can get involved. So it just depends. Okay,
I was more curious if you'd seen the change, as in you've gone to this brewery every other month, and obviously things are different now, like we were saying earlier. But you know what I'm saying, and physically watching the people that both either side of the bar change type of thing.
No,
not yet. Okay.
I don't think we're going to physically see that at least till 5 years.
Okay.
I don't expect to physically see that in my face and in your face and in anybody else's face at least 5 years from now. Because what you have is a brewery who hires the one Black person, right? So you got the token Black person in the brewery.
Yeah.
We need that to happen several times, and that's going to take months and years and, lots of commitment. That's not going to happen, right now. That's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year.
Gotcha.
It's going to take several years.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true to see the actual real change because it does take significant change and a whole shift. And even on the brewery side of things, the problem I know is that they were always hiring people. They tend to hire people. People actually just tend to hire people who look like them. That's just what it is. Yeah. And because the industry itself is dominated by one specific figure, it just trickles down throughout the entire brewery. So there also almost needs to be more black breweries that are owned by black owned breweries in order to kind of expedite that even faster and that.
Yes.
And we know there are a lot of hurdles to that as well in terms of access to capital.
Yeah.
Yes.
But this is, I think it's still a great start, because if you start seeing 2 or 3 more people in there that are working there, and then they start bringing their friends in, it's all about exposure, right?
Yeah.
And then once you get the exposure, you're not going to turn back. Just like what you said, you're at the club and you give it to someone, they're like, all right, okay. But they need to taste it, they need to be there, they need to be exposed to it in order to increase it. So I love it. It's like groundwork to kind of
it's foundation.
Yeah, it's foundational work. Yeah.
I imagine as well that even I didn't think of it like this, but from what you're saying, people refer their friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd be like there'd be someone of color in a brewery who would save the white brewery owner from making a dumbass mistake, like the H&M Cooler Smoking Ginger shit. And then they'll be like, yo, okay, so it is beneficial to have people of all walks of life in the brewery. Okay. And then maybe their mind is changed by that one token person. Yeah. And then that brewery is like, oh, no, I'm not going to get another Steve with a beard. I'm going to get,
Right.
Yeah, and in all aspects, it's like, okay, I need to get more, just different people, like everyone who looks different. I should get a black person, I should get a Latinx person, I should get an Asian. Like the benefit of having people that are different from you and have different perspectives, which will also actually just make your beer more interesting too. So when you think about it, when you start bringing more cultures in, then you start being like, oh, what's soursop, for example? I don't know. That's when you start getting the...
Yes. I am waiting for somebody to do a Coquito beer.
Coquito?
No.
We didn't know that.
What's that?
Here?
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, great. So Coquito is, it's in the Spanish culture. So my family is from San Pedro Sula, Honduras.
Okay.
And so we have this drink. It's called Coquito. You make it with rum. And so it's evaporated milk, coconut milk, cinnamon, nutmeg, rum, and what else? Shit. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, it's like a milky, it's almost like eggnog, but a lot better, because eggnog is kind of Coquito is fire. Nothing like that. But yes, I actually made some last night and took it to my job for some folks to try out there.
Nice.
So, but Coquito is amazing, and somebody here and then give me my props. Don't be saying you came up with that right now on Beer Kulture, and I said Coquito.
I feel like there's a collab.
We're gonna play this
just
back
waiting.
to make sure, but that's a play. Yeah, that's a
collab
that needs to happen.
You have to do that.
Yeah.
I love that.
See, things like that. Things like that. Oh, let me grab the
next beer.
The other one. Let's see where.
I'll be back. The next beer. No, that is so sick, and I feel like what you're doing is just creating that foundation to be able to do that type of stuff. So you guys, okay, so it explains the Green Bench connection, because I know you did, I think wasn't there like a Pilsner collab you guys did? You've done a bunch of collabs. You've done quite a few.
Pills.
Yes, and that seems like a regular thing that...
it's called Culture Chronicles. We did 2 volumes, so volume 1 and volume 2. That beer benefited an organization here called Building Beds. So they are a local organization where families are still sleeping on the floor, believe it or not.
Damn.
And so like these kids and families that we were able to help are literally like right here. And so the team, like my husband and my son, they go and they volunteer time there and help build beds.
Wow.
So
that's
actually
so cool.
took the entire team and went to build beds. And then we did the beer in order to benefit that organization.
That's so cool.
So we love Green Bench. That's our family. Period. You know, that's my family.
That's the same thing about building like real partnerships, though.
Yeah.
Like, these are like
I feel like no one really does that though.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think I've
seen.
You see that really.
Like we've done a bunch of collabs with breweries and stuff, and we've sort of done the same one every year, or
but
like
we're not partnering
different
with
variants. No, we're just doing it for the fuck of it. We're doing the exact smile with the hops in and shit. Like,
yeah, you said that, and I was like, oh, you mean
I was like,
us?
oh, you mean? But it's like,
lift the bag a little bit.
Yeah, come on.
Like,
there we
go.
go.
We're like, yeah,
get it in there.
Part. We did our part.
And like, look, that's all well and good, and it's cool. It's a marketing effort, really, is all that is. Like, there's not really much else to it.
Sure.
But I like the idea of doing something deeper.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just more interesting now. Now you're sort of really talking about it. I'd never really thought of that. Like when Tiff was saying before about like for our business, that's what we do if we partner for our clients with an influencer or something. we want to do them over time because you get to sort of work with them more. Their audience sees the company more, and it builds on it. And it's the exact same thing with this. And then if you incorporate like some sort of charitable aspect, which you guys have been doing, it makes it like just a more interesting experience, and like I said, more meaning. And I guess there's only so many like hot pictures you can take.
Like, to me, it's more real. And that's not to take away from, you know, people who just go for the fun of it and pour, you know, the hops and take the pictures. That's real to you. Like, that's what you guys do, and that's what you enjoy. But what's real to me looks differently. And I think it's important to note that as well, because I don't want people to watch this and be like, oh, you know, there's the fun police, everything. It's not that, but for what we're trying to do, it has to be meaningful, and there has to be impact. And so it's important for that to be there. For, you know, what you're doing, it may look differently. And for whoever else is doing, it may look differently. And so be you. Like, that's the thing. That's the message. Like, be 100% whoever your authentic self is. Whoever that person is, you show up as that person every day. This is who I am authentically. This is who Beer Kulture is, right? You show up as who Beer and Other Shit is, you know, as who Tiff is, as who Craig is. You show up as yourself every day. And that's that. Like, we don't got to put on out here. And I think that's important because, like, I work in corporate America, right? Where you got to go and you got to be like, hello, thank you for calling. Okay, bye. You know, you don't want to have to do that. I come to work every day as Tiesh. I'm not Latiesha. I'm Tiesh when I'm at work, you know, and you should be whoever you are. That's important. We shouldn't have to, you know, mold and fit the mold. We should be able to come in and be who we are. And I think that's important, and that's what makes the shit go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know that got
No, it's real.
That's
this
real,
is what I want with those gems, you know. Speaking of that, we save this one actually for a special. Come on, there you go.
There you go.
This this is one from a brewery here called Sir John, and repping it in the Crowns of Hubs glassware. I don't know if that's going to come through. You know what I'm saying? I don't have any beer culture.
Like that clean glassware.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, in Quebec, did you guys participate in anything like this, or do you have any thoughts?
We didn't.
Do you have any thoughts either way?
So here's my thoughts.
Cheers.
I don't.
Cheers.
Have any
As you're double fisting, there you go. All right.
I heard the clink. I heard it.
I think Black and beautiful is a beautiful thing. Okay, Black is beautiful all day, every day. My concern and why we didn't participate in a Black is Beautiful, because I think this is important to say, is because we didn't feel as though connecting with the brewery on that level just for a one time we're going to donate is going to be meaningful for us.
Gotcha.
That's
same
what
thing.
we do.
Okay.
What we do is partnership, long lasting. We want you to be 100% committed. And so if you know, when Black is Beautiful is coming out, I did this long video about donating proceeds and making sure you are doing right by the people that you say you are going to help and assist. And so love Black is Beautiful and the people who are truly committed to Black is Beautiful every day in real life. But I wanted something to be more meaningful and real to us, and that just wouldn't have been.
Gotcha.
But cheers to you and the people who are doing good things. And cheers to Marcus. I think, you know, what he came up with was dope.
Yeah. You really stick to, you're consistent, and I think that's so important, right? That's just consistency.
Unchanging.
Yeah. That's your ethos. No, and it makes sense, and that is also. These guys actually, which is interesting, we had a oh no, not these guys. Sankyum. We had the conversation with them where they were like, we don't want to just brew the beer and then we brew the beer. And it's like, hey, we did our thing, and they're like, how do we continue to make that?
Like they sat us down and asked us.
Yeah, like we're even just asking us.
We're not the geniuses about it.
We're not the geniuses. We actually just leverage the knowledge of like, here are people you can follow who are like doing good work here. Here's the things that we've seen. You know, like. You have partnerships, like say for example, they have a guy that they work with who's a Black man who does all the amazing meats for them, for example. And we're like, maybe you can tell his story more and bring his story in and bring the people that are around him more, like things like that. If you want to, there are different ways to elevate. So don't make it the one-off. Like make a commitment where it's like, if this means I can put more money in different people's pockets so I can empower them to do X, Y, Z, then that's the thing that you do. And or if it's donations or whatever that makes sense for the community. But yeah, it is true. And I like that they said that, because I was like, I know there's going to be this thing where it's like, it's the Black Square. right?
Yeah.
Just like the
Yeah.
black square in the beer form was like, okay, I did my thing, right? All right, I'm
All
good
right,
here.
peace, peace,
I'm dead
peace.
now. Bye. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Right.
fade into the into the back.
Yeah.
That was always concerning because we were sort of judging. I don't know. I guess I understand.
I did judge people.
because we only had.
But I was judging the white breweries. I wasn't judging any black person. But I was judging the brewers who didn't do it. I was like, hey,
in Quebec,
what's going
where
on?
we are in Montreal, Quebec, there was 3 breweries that did this beer. In Ontario, where Tiff's from, and my brother was that next in Toronto, there was like 30.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more because
I was
there's
like
a stronger
500 or something. What are we at? 500, 700 there?
between. No, that's the whole country. We got
700 in Canada.
Yeah, I think somewhere say 1,000. Say
Mhm.
in Ontario is like 250, 300, and I think in Quebec's like about the same.
Okay.
But 3. And the only one that Tiff was talking about were the latest one that these guys were the second guys, and I can't speak to what they did as far as a follow-up, but it was kind of disappointing, but also not surprising, you know.
Sure.
And but then again, you make good points as far as this isn't the be-all and end-all of giving back and actually making that real change,
Right.
whether it's the hiring or community activities and stuff like that. I feel like it's just like it's such an interesting thing because you're taking so much weight. I always very much admired what you guys are doing and what Tio and Benny are doing. I guess before they were trend. I mean, still they're doing that work, but you guys were always in my eyes or our eyes like the leaders of all this stuff, and it's just so it's a large, not a burden, but it's a large thing to carry.
It's a weight to
a
carry.
weight, that's the word.
It is.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Because you're trying to convince. Like I feel like when people I see it online, my stomach turns when I see people. Like I saw someone. There was another brewery, a friend of ours, and he hit us up because he does barrel aged only, and he wasn't able to participate in Black is Beautiful. So he's like, "Look, I made a special thing, and I want to call it Fuck Racism." And he's going to pick I think basically the exact same content, right? I saw someone's small pony, right? Someone still turned it into an All Lives Matter thing on my friend's post. On Nathan. Nathan said to say hi to you, by the way.
So he was my contact person, and
Yes.
I love him. He's absolutely amazing.
He's such a
And
sweetie.
so, yeah,
He's the
I
best.
just want to take a minute to shout out Nathan. That's the homie. Hey,
Yeah.
homie.
Hey, Nate. He's
love
the
Nate,
sweetest man I've ever
Yeah,
met.
he's fan.
Yeah.
So he posted the Fuck Racism beer, and some dickhead turned it into an All Lives Matter. I'm like, I couldn't, because when I spoke to Sean from Small Pony about it, he ran it, and I was like, honestly, bro, like, if you're concerned, because they, they're a bunch of whiteys, and they didn't really know how to approach it. So I'm like, look, you believe this? Are you there, Tish?
Oh, you froze.
We froze for a sec. That's it.
Yes.
We got you.
Okay.
I don't know what was happening.
It's Skype.
Okay.
It's the usual internet stuff. So he was like, he didn't know. He was like, he wanted to be a part of it. He believed in it. He's like, I want to participate. But all the people, him as owner, white man, all the staff obviously were a white folk, and he didn't know what the right moves were. I feel like there was a large confusion. And when he showed us the artwork, we were like, there's nothing anybody can say. It says fuck racism. Like if you're going against that, literally you know what you are. So, and to see that one dude turn it into that, for fuck's sake, it's the point being is that this is just a large weight on your shoulders that you deal every day, and I feel like it takes a real special people to be able to keep pushing forward and like be so focused in your mission.
Yeah.
And you don't even, you're just kind of like, fuck off. Like, I'm doing my thing, bro. This is going to happen with or without you. It doesn't matter. And I love that. And you really need to be applauded for that. It's just such a, I've seen a lot of other people sort of struggle with it who are part of it. I've seen people really sort of vent and sort of, but I don't see that from you. I don't see that from Tio and Benny. I just really think that you guys are sort of very special people to be able to do this and keep going back every single day and coming out to bat and just like never giving up. It's just much respect. I just think it's so cool. And I guess at the end of the day, the goal is what you're that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Do you have an ultimate goal, actually?
That's actually what I was thinking as you were saying that too. Like, because we even said like in 5 years, that's when you hope that you start actually seeing things happen. But what would be like the grand vision for Beer Kulture?
It would be able to walk into a space and there's a beer with Indian spices somewhere. There's a beer like a Coquito beer, with a Spanish flavor. There's, like the Guinness, what Guinness is for Jamaicans. Like, there's just a bunch of different flavor. And you go in and there's a bunch of different colorful people vibing and laughing and enjoying and having a good time. I don't think, diversity is this magical space that we'll just arrive at one day, right? Like, yeah, we are mission diversity, and one day it is just going to be diversified.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, over time, it's the everyday work, like the one person that gets hired at the brewery, right? So now when somebody goes to that brewery, they're going to be able to be like, yo, what's up, bro? I see you back there. They're going to have somebody that they can connect to. And then, that person turns into a regular customer, and then they start working there. And then, it starts adding and building up from there. And so just the everyday work of progression excites me. Being able to put the people that I love, which is this community, into positions where they can make money and they can take care of their family and they can do what they love, that excites me. And so I don't think there's going to be like the magical destination, but it's just the everyday work that I get to do. And the people who are on my team, I just want to shout them out because God bless them. We do a lot. And we volunteer a lot of hours to see this shit through and to make sure that this shit is popping like it is. So shout out to Chris Johnson. Shout out to AJ Kieran. Shout out to Jasmine Old. Shout out to Jay Smooth. Everybody is doing amazing work and dedicating hours to make sure that this shit pops off for the people that we say we love. Because we say we love people, but we don't do shit for them. No, get your people paid. Put your people on. Put them in position. That's what you do for the people you love. So that's the shit that gets me excited.
I love that so much. It's the inclusion part, really. That's what the diversity is one thing, but you're getting the inclusion part so that eventually people can really build careers in this industry, and that's just going to be a complete full effect down from there, and I can't wait for the day like the person that you had that got the job on the Beer Kulture board is the one that opens their own brewery because of this path and trajectory, right? Because that's what everyone needed.
That's what's going to happen.
And that's what's going to happen.
I never thought of that, actually.
And it's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. So is there like a I guess like I want to see X. Is there a number behind any end goal, or it's not even? You don't even have the goal. You just like every day. I need to do this.
It's not the goal. Our plan is very clear. I mean, like any business, there's a business plan that exists, right? But for us, it's not the X amount of numbers. And I work in the sales world, and so one thing that kind of makes me a different type of manager is my employees are not numbers, right? Like these are people to me, and it's the same thing in this space. Like I don't have a numerical goal of how many people I want to reach and how many lives I want to change. Nope. You want to focus on the one life. That one life matters, and then going from there. That's how I move. That's how it is. That's how this business will move.
Right.
And that's what it is.
Okay, that makes sense. I was never really sure sort of if there was sort of like an end goal, but I guess in this space it's kind of
the work will continue.
I feel like it's
absolutely
that's
it. Period.
There's
like
no
the girl say, period.
With a T, with a big T. I never really bang with this shit. I didn't get it. I feel like there's a cultural disconnect. Are they from Florida?
City girls? Yeah, they're from Miami.
They're from Miami.
Yeah, Miami's got a whole.
That's a whole like. I feel like it's its own.
Miami's
world.
its own world though. Like
its own world.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Is there a disconnect, a culture, almost like a bit of like a from coming from New York and then going to Florida? Because it feels like I've been in Florida just once.
I don't think so. It's so funny. Like that's why we kind of loved it here. We drove down. My dad lives in Orlando.
Okay.
And so we came to visit him before we moved here. And we left the kids with him and drove around to surrounding cities. So we went to Jacksonville, we came to St. Pete, and fell in love. St. Pete had a fucking record store, downtown St. Pete. They had the crates outside, and I was like, yo, easy. And so at that time, our son passed away, and we were just looking for something different. We needed something different as a family. And we were like, look, we're going to make the move. And so this feels like home. Like when you think about New York and just the vibe that you get, it feels like home. Like these motherfuckers down here in Florida is crazy, but so is everybody in the Bronx.
Okay. It's not a different level? Like it's not a different level?
It is. They have this thing called like Florida Man.
Oh yeah,
the Florida Man. Yeah, we did.
Yes, it's a real thing, but that's okay. Like it's a comfortable kind of crazy for me, and so I fuck with it.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So St. Pete. All right.
Yeah.
So
it's called St. Petersburg or just St. Pete, isn't it?
It's St. Petersburg, but
Okay,
it ain't.
just checking.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's
checking,
where we
just checking.
go when we come to visit. All right.
Okay.
That's good to know.
Where is it in relation to? Because I know Miami's down further south. Orlando's like in the middle.
So we're north. Yeah,
North.
we're a little further north. You know Tampa.
I don't know Florida geography, but yeah, okay, ish. Is that north of Orlando still?
It is. Yes.
Okay. So it's near
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like
I know
4
nothing.
Okay.
hours. Yeah.
There you go.
What's the other? So they said there's Jacksonville. Is there another town that starts with J? It's big. Maybe it's Jacksonville. I did this thing. In 2004. I lived in Toronto, and I did like when I was mad young, and I did the Greyhound around all the way to Vancouver, and then around the States. And I went to Miami on the bus.
Greyhound. You're crazy.
Oh, it was the wildest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. I would never set foot on those things again. I was a kid and very broke and trying to see everything, right? I remember buying so I was like going through, I think it was, maybe it was Tallahassee. That's what I'm thinking of.
Tallahassee.
And there was, I think it was like, this would have been September, October. So it was the end of school. And there was, the bus was driving down and it looked like a movie. Because obviously where I'm from, people don't look like that. The cars don't look like that. The way people behave, y'all are just loud and it's crazy. It's awesome. And there was that.
Where's Tallahassee?
That's at the top, right?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay.
You know.
I was like, I have no idea of the geography of any of
that. Yeah, I'm kind of.
It's somewhere.
And there was like, what's the thing called when school finishes? And there was just like mad people in the streets, and just it was like everything was kind of stopped. There was just cars everywhere, people sitting on top of the cars. Like just chilling. It felt like not a prom thing, but like an end of school thing.
Okay.
No, that's all I really remember.
I was like, I thought they ended school, and then when we do, which is summertime.
Oh.
Yeah, because we end school.
Okay, so it's got nothing to. I forgot about. Okay, so it's got nothing to do with nothing.
So you walked in on a party.
Okay, it was just mad, and it was all young people, like university age type of thing. And I was like, yo, I wish the bus would stop. This is lit. Okay, that's all I really think of Florida, like in that sort of area. I don't really know a lot about it. Miami was cool. A little weird.
Yeah.
But, like,
yeah.
It was nice. Okay, sick.
We'll definitely make our way up.
Yeah,
we'll make our way up.
The weather's beautiful.
Yes, it's that's
we'll be there. We'll be there in a couple years to come see you in person and say
hi. Good time, Tiff.
Oh, I wish we could be there right now.
We will fuck Florida up.
Yes.
Hey, yes, that's what I'm talking
Florida
about.
Men.
That's what I'm talking about.
No Florida men.
No Florida men involved.
No. just good people.
A little bit of Florida man.
If we're back and we can just watch it, I'm cool with that. We can film it. There you go.
Then we're good. Then we're good.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So what can people like? What's next for Beer Culture? What's
donate because it's Giving Tuesday. Are you guys doing anything for Giving Tuesday coming up on December 1st?
No.
So they can just donate to you all the time.
Listen, I try. This is the thing about me, right? Anything that seems like, cheesy or just like fake, I can't. It's almost like I'm allergic.
Fair enough.
Giving Tuesday sounds amazing. But I saw it and I was like, we should probably do something like that. And then, the little person on my shoulder was like, nah, fuck that. And so I was like, yeah, you're right. No, we are not doing a Giving Tuesday, but we do welcome people to donate. Obviously, we have a really big mission and it requires really big money.
Yeah.
And so, yes, you can visit beerkulture.com, spell culture with a K, not with a C.
Yes.
And yeah, there's like a donate button way at the little bottom there. That supports our scholarships, that supports our internship. We just launched an internship, by the way.
Amazing.
It's in partnership with Hop Culture. So whoever our candidate is, they'll get to write on Hop Culture's website and, put their little stuff out there and get paid. So this is a paid internship. We are not asking anybody to do nothing for free. And if anybody asks you to do anything for free, you'd be like, nah, you need to run me my coins because I'm using my skills, okay? So, run me my coins.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
what about paid
opportunities?
Yes.
You can apply for that at beerculture.com too. And so, good shit. Follow us, like us, do all the social media
It's
stuff.
at Beer
All
Culture
at Beer
everywhere.
Culture, right? Everywhere.
Beer Culture everywhere. Yeah.
Do you want people to follow you?
No, I don't like people like that.
No? That's what you just want to get them jobs. change their lives. But
I love people. I'm such a people person, and I hug all the people.
Wow.
Shout out to COVID-19. I can't do that.
Shout out to COVID-19. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yeah,
I love
COVID-19.
people.
Yeah.
Yes, people can follow me if they feel like it. It's Culture Mother. Shout out to Ari. She gave me that name, by the way. She's the Black Mermaid on Instagram. I love her. She's so tiny and so cute. She calls me Mother, and so that's how I got that name.
Oh,
Culture Mother. So shout out to her.
That's amazing. Yeah, she's awesome. I love it. Tiesh, that is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming through. Wrap this up. Stick around on the Skype call. Oh, we didn't do?
We have to do a
thumbnail
photo.
We just take a screenshot.
Okay. Wait. Am I cute?
Yeah. You've been cute. You've been cute the entire time. Trust me. You always cute. You stay cute.
Okay. Ready? Hold that up. Oh, there you go. Turn it. There you go. Oh, ready? Oh, look at us. Look at you did it, Tiesh. You're the best.
I had to do the get it in your face.
It'd be rude not to. I love it. I'll wrap this up. Stick around on the Skype call at the end. We'll finish up. So guys, thank you so much. Tiesh, you are the best. This was a genuine pleasure. Everything you're doing is so important. Just thank you for your time and thank you for everything you're doing for the community. It's wonderful. Please keep doing it. Just keep being you and killing it and changing the goddamn world.
Yeah.
Not just beer, the damn world.
Listen, people like to think that is super ambitious, but that's okay. I'm an ambitious woman, and I got an ambitious team. So yes, that's what we're doing.
That's what you're doing. It will not stop.
I love you guys.
For real.
Seriously. Like, we don't know each other in real life, but y'all have been like real since day one, and real recognizes real. You can't fake that shit. And so I just appreciate who you are in this space. I appreciate your friendship. And thank you for having me, sharing your platform to elevate our message. I love y'all. You're amazing. You're a beautiful soul.
Love you. It's the energy. Even though we haven't seen each other, you just know, right?
We knew this would be a pleasure. And as well, like, whenever you want to come back to talk, you got anything you want to do, you are anytime to say the word is done. Whatever you want us to share shit, you want to come and talk again, please come talk again. Let's do it.
Please come talk again.
This is yours forever. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching me. Please go and follow Tiesh and Beer Kulture and make sure you stay up on everything they're doing. If you enjoyed the episode, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell so you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast and check out the long form audio so you can hear motherfucking world-changing legends like Latiesha Cook. Every week we are here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything. Just a glorious human being.
Just gracing us all.
Need a little crown right there. You know what I'm saying? We'll see you in the next episode, guys. Peace. All right, boom. Live people, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next Thursday.
Next Friday.
Next Thursday.
Thursday. Special Thursday.
It's 2 a week until the end of the year. It's a lot going on. All right, y'all. Enjoy the night. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.